conversations as well as emails with the environmental scientist in the Arcata office for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. His name is James Bond, goes by JB. Mr. Bond said that in all of my conversations with him, he is the wind tower consultant at U.S. Fish and Wildlife. He's never had a residential project come before him. He just said they're just not an impact. But he carefully reviewed all the documentation that we gave him. And in my conversations with him, really trying to be as careful as possible, he said, okay, well, there has been documentation of marble murrelet in the area east of the project site, so I really don't have any problem with this project, but if you do this mitigation, cease the rotation for this time frame, he says, we have no issue with this project. State parks also, to address that packet of guidelines that was put together with Fish and Game and the Energy Commission, amazing document. Spoken to 4 different folks at Fish and Game. Yesterday I spoke to the office of the author, one of the main authors, who put those guidelines together, and they told me the same thing that 3 other folks at Fish and Game said, was that documentation, those guidelines are overkill for residential. They're written for commercial installations. It's not written for residential. We believe that we've done our due diligence with our assessment and proposed mitigation. Also, I spoke with Marilyn Murphy, who's the superintendent of the Mendocino District of the California State Parks, and she said that she has no concern with this project. As long as the mitigation, the proposed mitigation that James Bond put together at Fish and Wildlife, she says she accepts that mitigation. And she also concurs that if Fish and Game says that those guidelines are intended for commercial, then she understands that they don't apply. I'm there. Thank you. So rather than violating various and sundry goals and policies, standards and regulations, this project is in support of a number of all of the above. In the coastal zone, the Coastal Act specifically states, again, new development shall minimize energy consumption and vehicle miles traveled. Originally, I only cited the first half of that sentence, but realizing that Charles's future vehicle is going to be a plug-in electric car, that's going to take care of the second half of that sentence. Reduce vehicle miles traveled. Now, that was written in 1976. In 2008, we're just starting to try to address some of these things. The county's current general plan, there's in the natural resources, this covers the whole county inland, stated intention to move in the direction of alternative energy given the uncertainty of future energy supplies. That's current general plan, not even the one you guys are working on now. The coastal element encourages self-reliance, says coast is a prime site for wind. Talked about the state bill AB 2789. It's there again, and the governor and former vice president. This is in compliance. It even supports the goals and policies, and we look forward to seeing how this continues. Thank you.
Great. And to wrap up, you'll have 5 more minutes both sides. So
okay,
if I hurried you through that last part, you can expand during your 5-minute rebuttal. So, to the board, any questions of the appellant or the applicant at this point? Sorry, who was first? Supervisor.
Question for the applicant. The Coastal Commission placed the open space easement, holds open space easement on the property.
Yes. Yes.
What restrictions are on that easement? Is it written so strictly that would prohibit the actual siting of the tower in the easement area? Or is that a possibility?
I did not negotiate that with the Coastal Commission. That was done by a prior owner. But my understanding of the paperwork is that it's no development whatsoever within the conservation easement that runs on either side of the stream, which runs down the property. The proposed site for the wind turbine is outside that zone.
So we don't have, this is no development, the question hasn't been posed to the Commission, Coastal Commission.
We haven't actually posed that, Amy went. We haven't posed that question to the Commission because my experience with the Commission repeatedly, development means anything put in the ground permanently. So the open space easement is very direct, no development in the open space easement, and I think that
There's
we know the answer.
I don't blame you for not trying. there's a correspondence from Mr. McKinney, I'm sure you've seen. The parcel, the neighboring parcel to Mr. View is that from the coastal parcel?
It is.
Is there any options of moving westerly on this parcel that might mitigate that impact, if there is such an impact, and still achieve your goals and stay out of the easement area? Do you have other options of that location?
Yeah, this is an extremely constrained parcel due to the existing easements, like the conservation zone that you mentioned, as well as existing development. And this northeast strip of land outside the conservation zone is the best place for a wind turbine. And that is, for instance, because it's right next to a valley through which wind travels as it comes up from the big river. And visually, I want to point out that the tower is not notably above the tree line. This picture on the upper left-hand side, provided by Amy Wynn, provides a simulation of what it will look like after the tower has been built.
This map, is the north top?
Sorry?
Is the north the top?
Yes, north is top, and to the right is east.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Supervisor Colfax.
I have a couple of concerns. I just want to lead questions of the applicant. First, Mr. Lynch, what effort was made by staff to look at the character of the turbine and the character of the tower?
You're talking about the aesthetic?
No, look, just technical requirements of essentially the combination of turbine and power.
Well, I think the appellant talked about that they didn't think it was consistent with an interpretation of the code or sequence. We felt that it was. We felt that there's an exemption for heights that talks about utility poles. We equated this to that because it was these small residential turbine. We felt it fell within that category, and we did not think the issue rose to the level of significance that warranted anything but. We felt that the categorical exclusion under sequence fit the project.
Then to the applicant, you mentioned your source of information for the equipment, which is what, a SkyStream 1.8 kilowatt?
Right, from Gaia Energy Systems in Ukiah.
Yes. How many towers has Gaia? How many systems has Gaia put in place?
I don't have that information, but I would be pleased to provide that to the
Do you think that should have
supervisors.
been? Do you think that should have been considered in bringing this forward?
They are
Because
no,
I'll tell you why I'm raising the issue with you. Because it is more than the birds, certainly more than the birds. Having been paying attention to wind systems in Mendocino County for the last 30 years, the record is not very good. And what I would predict here is when you put this system in, given the trees